Hello, people. Thursday afternoon podcast because heading out to do the garage giveaway install in Virginia tomorrow. So I fly out at 1 o'clock, and so we're going to do this today. So ask some questions in the live stream because we don't, if you want to know what's going on. But the garage giveaway is going to be fun. It's going to be a long process to get it done, but I think the transformation is going to be worth all the effort.
So is it just completely bare right now? There's nothing there? Or?
Yeah, it's just a new construction, new house, yeah. So first thing we're going to do is paint. So I already ordered the paint, so Emmanuel has the paint there. We're going to paint the ceiling, paint the walls. We'll also probably cut some of the drywall spots, get the stringers in, and get reinforcement done. So we'll knock that out kind of in the painting process. After that, then we'll probably assemble the cabinets, get those in place. Actually, first put the flooring down after the paint's done. Assemble the cabinets, get those in place. Work on the pressure washing system, the air compressor system, running the lines, mount the TV, mount the display, mount the speaker, the center channel, or whatever you call it, sound bar, speaker, and subwoofer. Get those set up. Get our hose reels mounted. Work on I think the final thing will probably be working on the lift. So there'll be all these little projects going in place. And so what I think we'll probably do is we'll do like a greater transformation video of the start to finish process, and then we'll do like the individual parts and pieces of the process as we kind of work through all the different intricate things. Like we'll have a pressure washing video, we'll have a air compressor video, we'll have putting a cabinet assembly video, all these different things. It's going to be super cool, super fun to do. I haven't, other than doing the 2 cabinets that I have in MSS Plus, this will be the first time doing like a full array. We're missing the uppers. Those won't come until next year, but it's still going to come together really nicely. It's going to be pretty sweet.
So yeah, one of the questions here was, will those videos be coming out as like next week, or is it going to be when you get back?
Yeah, we're taking our editing rig with us, and so we want to kind of put those up every day as we're there. So that's why Bryce, Mike, and Kyle, I'm having the 3 of them come so we can do that and get the videos up, because I don't like to make up content just to make it up, and so we're probably going to live stream from there. I'll do a live stream Q&A or something like that, and other than that, it's going to be a freaking amazing transformation.
All right, let's see here. Matt, if the GT4 was your only car, would you be totally satisfied? Do you feel like it's missing anything at all?
Well, of course, the climate control thing I should have done, because there's some goofy little lines that don't make sense instead of having like a number, so you can't like set an auto temperature. No, I mean, the car's great. I mean, you need to modify, you need to lower it, you need spacers, you need to do exhaust. But like I said, I think the one thing I would like to have is I'd rather have the GT3 in that color, that blue color, and have that in white. But other than that, it's pretty good. I like it a lot. It's not like so special that I feel like I shouldn't drive it all the time. It's like just a car that I want to drive every day. That's the whole thing that I really want. That how I know that I really like the cars, because I want to get in and drive it. Like I got in to drive the M3 today, and I was like, I don't want to do this.
All right, Tony wants to know, Matt, have you messed around with or used any Carbon Collective product? Heard you mention it at SEMA.
I have in the past, yeah, but not their detailing stuff, but their detailing chemicals, but some of their detailing tools I've used, like their Chanel mitt or Chanel pad that somebody highly suggested. I didn't really like it, but that's about it.
All right, let's see. Kurt says, hey guys, any update on Pressall being in the store? That's a great question.
No
Kurt.
More updates.
Anytime we say they're going to be here, they won't, so I'm not going to tell you when they're going to be here, because they won't. But they'll be here soon. As soon as they get here, we're putting them in the store. Don't worry.
Yep.
Let's see. Hey, Matt, can you recommend a budget sound system for a 1,000-square-foot basement theater?
I'm not really your budget guy, but look at like SVS, Klipsch, I'd prefer a Yamaha receiver, so do Yamaha receiver and some some decent. The bigger, the taller, the bulkier the floor standing speaker, generally the better they're going to sound. That's what I'd want. I'd want a legit subwoofer. So you spend some money on the subwoofer, get a decent receiver. The nice thing about doing something like Klipsch that's more efficient, you get like that really fun. You get a lot of amplitude with not a lot of need for a ton of power. So you can have a $500 receiver, and then have some big bulky speakers, and then do like a killer subwoofer, and you got yourself a nice setup. Do like an SVS sub, some clipped fronts and center, doing some large floor standing, and then do something on the wall that matches the front, that's timber match to the fronts, and you can have a real fun experience for $3,500 or so, something like that.
All right, let's see. Is there a new video coming out today? So I just clicked here to see. So we got a Civic status update? Is that what that's?
Yeah. Because the Civic's leaving next week when I'm gone, I just did a walkthrough of everything that I've done thus far, what I've learned, and just a normal Matty 45-minute long walk around the car rant, and so that'll be out tonight. Or either tonight or tomorrow, maybe tomorrow, and then I don't really have anything. So go become members of Inside the Hex. There's tons of videos there you probably haven't seen. I'm shooting a vlog today for that. I just uploaded a vlog earlier this week from Friday, or maybe it was Thursday. I don't know, Thursday or Friday. And then we'll have all the garage content coming up here this coming week. So I'll be working Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday until we get it done.
All right, let's see. Russell here in the chat says, can you talk about the sale on the ScanGrip products that you mentioned in the latest video? Is this a manufacturer sale or OG only?
Yeah, no, it's a manufacturer sale. But, the vendors have to buy it, so we bought it. And so it's like a SEMA replacement sale, if you will. So it's November 2nd to the 11th, I think. Mm-hmm. And pretty significant discount for it was like $50 off the Mini Match R. And then the little mini match, or wait,
multi-match
R, and then the mini match is $30 off of a $90 thing. So pretty legit, and we'll have quite a few of them. So
that's next week.
Yeah, that's nothing earth-shattering, but just something cool that normally I just blow off because it's a pain in the butt to set it up. But I figured, those are two things that I like a lot, and I think people will find useful. And so we went to the effort to get it set up in the store so you could buy it, save some money.
All right. Rick here has a question for you. Sounds like he agrees with you on a couple things. He's not a fan of projectors. So hoping you can recommend a reliable, somewhat reasonable TV option for my home theater setup.
Yeah, I mean, organic LED, OLED is, I hate it when people call it OLED. It sounds freaking stupid. You don't call an LED LED, so why are you calling it OLED? That's freaking dumb. So organic LED or OLED is my favorite, technology. It's the evolution of plasma, if you will. Remember that any LCD panel or any panel they call an LED is not actually LED. It's just LED backlit. So there's instead of having a fluorescent light bulb behind it, it has LEDs that are backlit that they now have zones that can turn on and off. So they just have Band-Aid after Band-Aid for LCD technology. The problem with LCD is that LCD doesn't produce as steep of blacks. LCD is a thin film transistor, so it's translucent. And so the light source behind it can never be completely blocked out by the LCD. And so that's why you always have washed out images. Now, LCD is generally not glass or shiny on the front, so if you have if you're like in a garage or on a pool deck or something, I've always done, like I have a couple of LCDs out on my pool deck. I also bought LCD for Ryan's gaming thing because he'll ruin an OLED with burn-in. So forget this bright room business. If it's a bright room, if it's still a room, I don't care how bright it is, you can still have an OLED, no problem. My 77 inches in a room with the frickin' windows, right? 2 giant windows. They don't even have any window treatments on, so you're fine. So you want, I think, there's no real benefit to spending more money on the LG OLED stuff. Like they have the Signature series and stuff like that, but it costs a lot for nothing for speakers. The processors aren't even any different in them. So you just want a 55, 65, or 77 inch. What is it? C9. I think the C10 comes out at some point. So like a C9, which is $3,500 or less. So freaking dirt cheap for a 77-inch OLED is like $3,800. 65 is like $2,000 or something crazy like that, which is insane. And so don't buy this Samsung and these other junk. And I don't think the Sony's really worth anything out either. Chances are you're not going to use the speakers on the TV. You're going to use some sort of external speaker system. Even if it's a sound bar, it's way better. So don't get sucked into all these features the TV has. Just buy the cheapest LG OLED, which is the C series, and they're freaking amazing. And then pay $400 to have an ISF certified tech, not from Best Buy, but go to the ISF Image Science Foundation website, find someone locally in your area. Hopefully, if they're a level 2 certified ISF calibrator, again, stay away from Geek Squad because they're not as good. And find someone who is an expert in that and have it calibrated, and then you'll be set up. So $2,500 for a 65-inch OLED is where you want what you want to do. And don't buy some goofy tilting bracket. Buy a Sanus ultra low profile, I think it's called ULLP, I think it is, or something like that, where it's as flat and as flush to the wall as possible. That's what you need to do.
All right, let's see here. I might need your help with this pronunciation. Have you tried any of these products? Was that Ansio?
No.
Anso?
Enso?
AENSO.
No.
Oh, okay.
Looks cute.
Yeah. Pretty colors.
Yeah. I don't know. I was thinking about this the other day. I mean, there's so many darn products and so many things, and everybody's chasing and looking for the new thing, and that's really, really popular. But I'm just not a new thing kind of guy. I'm a good thing kind of guy, and I like to try stuff, but I don't get too excited about it. I'm more about process, having great products and a great process, and flipping around all over the place has never done well for me. So I tend to be a bit more methodical and slower. If I see something like Cook Chemi really gets me excited just because of the branding and stuff. I get these like sneaky suspicions, like this intuition that something's going to work out and I'm going to find something great. So I don't know. That looks kind of neat, but the likelihood of something being great in there is I think okay because it looks like they spend time on bottling, but I don't know.
All right, let's see. Craig wants to know if there's a shelf life for CSL/EXO.
If it's been opened, then yeah. My requisite is that I just look at the bottle. If I see any chunks floating in there, then I know that it's compromised. Otherwise, I think it's good to go.
All right, Invasion HD says, any info if the Prevost air blower guns will be on sale for Black Friday? Yes, that's part of the sale for Black Friday. There are few exceptions on the 10% off deal. Rupes polishers are a no-go.
Yeah,
we learned that this week. Sabre cabinets, I believe, and Milwaukee products.
Sabre should be good now.
Sabre? Okay, we'll check on Sabre.
Yeah, because now, the way that they, now they have margins on them. Before, we only had a 10% like deal with the original guy. So I couldn't run 10% off because I'd lose money on it. So I think we have, 28% margin or something. So I think we can run Sabre. I don't know that there's enough margin to do free shipping on Sabre over 1,000 and 10% off, but I think maybe that could work. Yeah, we wouldn't make much money on it, but
we'll dig into it and find out.
Yeah.
Matt in the chat, an AK-26 photography, both say Anso, or however you pronounce it, is made by Modesta, or a sister company of Modesta.
Oh, then who freaking cares? Yeah, I don't care then.
All right, let's see.
I think Modesta cuts off its nose despite its face with all the weird rules and crap that they come up with. But hey, if you want to sell to like 50 people, that's fine. I mean, I don't think that model is a great model, but everybody has to have their niche. So. Yeah.
All right, let's see. Got a Civic question for you. What made you want to pick the RSX GS90 for the Civic? What is that?
Say that again.
What made you want to pick the RSX GS90?
It's at this moment, I believe it's the best head unit available for for cars. I wanted a single DIN. There is no quality double DIN head unit. They're all kind of goofy. I mean, I think the most expensive double DIN nav unit is like, not that you want to spend money, but it's like $900. And so, there's a lot packed into that thing for $900, and there's not a lot of sound cube packed into it. So I wanted, the Sony, I think right now is the best. There's an old Pioneer, I forget, the DEH 750S or something like that. It's also another head unit, but I just like the look of the Sony. It's like a piece of metal instead of some shiny, with all these weird blue and green lights all over it. So that's what really appealed to me.
All right, let's see here. We had a business question from Maurizio. From a business perspective, would you consider the YouTube ad revenue crucial or just a bonus income?
No, it means nothing to me. Yeah. I mean, we're annualizing at probably $70,000 this year, which I know is a decent sum, but in the grand scheme of a multi-million-dollar business, it doesn't really do much. Doesn't pay much. Pays for our electric bill, so pays for like 7/8 of a month of payroll, the whole year. So for many channels that generate a lot more views and a lot broader interest, it's a significant sum of money. For me, it's never been a significant sum. I've continued to follow my formula, which is to do what I think is interesting, knowing that what I think is interesting doesn't have broad appeal, and then doing it in my fashion with my my quirks, if you will, and uncompromising attitude, then that's not for everybody. But the people it's for, the Obsessed Garage store and brand has benefited significantly from me staying hard lined on that philosophy, and it's worked out thus far, so we'll keep going. But yeah, the YouTube revenue is generally been somewhere between $50,000 and $70,000 a year. So right now it's annualizing at like $6,000 or $7,000 a month, which again is a significant amount of money, but again not in the grand scheme of the bigger picture of the organization.
I got a comment here from Sandy in the chat. Bought the Hose foam cannon OG spec Mosmatic, and I got to say it worked perfectly and even had more foam without me changing anything with our hard water here in San Diego. Thanks, guys. Nice.
Yeah, the buying something right and doing it, modifying your Honda Civic of pressure washers can make it still a great experience. Honda Civic can still be a great car. It's just not so great out of the box. It works. This has been my argument with all the people who say you need to leave that beautiful car alone. Well, that beautiful car sucks balls. And you drive around town and sitting up on all tall and turning the steering wheel 57 times to make a right-hand turn, and it's got 130 horsepower and doesn't make any noise, and the seats are terrible, and everything about it is just junk. Who the heck wants to drive around in a base Civic? Just like who the heck wants to use a base Greenworks pressure washer with a crappy gun? That all of those things are built to a price point and a failure point. So I talked with I talked with James Hugh, about doing the sort of the OG spec entry level pressure washer. So we're working on terms and how that would work and what that would look like, and sort of the progressive steps. We would come out with what's already available, which would be somewhere around 1.8 gallons a minute at around $180 or something like that, and strip it of the garbage that it comes with, like the gun and wand and nozzles and all this goofy crap. And so then from there, then the next evolution would be to set it up to where it comes even more stripped, where the casing is tight, where it has holes where we can screw it to a shelf, or it has that nice handle where you can carry it, so it's like a dual purpose. And then the next evolution would be I want to put a new, I want to have a 14 millimeter outlet, not a 15 millimeter, and then have a much more robust brass hose inlet, and then then from there maybe we can get to 2 gallons a minute at $220 with a bit more serviceable of a machine. But what I'm looking for is something that performs well, has lots of flow, not necessarily tuned to about 1,000 psi, that costs say less than $300. And that's something that I think we're going to get, but it's still going to be a throwaway type machine, because once you start to go to 500, 600, 700, now we're in, might as well buy an AR or a Comet, and when you get to 1,000, you might as well just buy a Krenza. So that's the plan.
Good. I'm glad you addressed that because there's someone who asked about that. Let's see. Do you use panel wipe between CSL and EXO layers?
No. You definitely don't want to do that.
Or between PowerLock Plus and Colonite layers?
Definitely not. You'll strip the PowerLock right off. No.
There you go, Joey. Don't do it.
Yeah, if you needed to do something, just use spritz a little water on your towel just to wipe the dust off. But yeah, you don't want to do that. You'll strip the. You'll likely compromise the uncured coating, or you'll strip off the sealant.
All right, let's see. We got a super chat here from Brian up in New York. Hey, Matt and Chris, happy Thursday. How do you know when to reapply woofs? And do you need to repolish everything off before you reapply?
One of the great things about woofs is that when it fails, it doesn't just fail. Like, it doesn't start streaking or squeaking or your wipers juddering or it doesn't get runny. You'll start to notice it just doesn't quite work as well. Now, if you're a heavy wiper user, you'll blow through the woofs in a few weeks and have to reapply it. So chances are you'll be reapplying it before you really need to reapply it, and you don't need to strip it off generally. Just add a coat right to the top of it. You can tell because when the car's wet, run your hand across the windshield. If it's not crunchy and have sort of contamination on it, then you ought to be able to just throw another layer on it. And I usually do that once every 6 or 8 months, something like that.
All right, quick question to go back to the entry-level pressure washer you discussed. Is that something, would you expect to meet those specs and still be able to run on a 15-amp residential circuit?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah, easily. Even a crowded 15-amp circuit. I mean, it would probably pull 13.5 amps or less. So even if you had some lights or something on that same circuit, you'd probably be fine. Yeah, this is going to be, a crappy pressure washer. And the way that they're able to achieve these higher flow outputs is these are they're 5 plunger pumps. If you look at like the CAT version or the active one that was on Amazon for a short period of time, this guy James made this version where it has 5 plungers inside of the same sealed sort of cheap Chinese pump, and that's how he's able to get decent output, 1.7, 1.8 gallons per minute out of these machines that retail for $180.
We got a couple of questions here about the Soul exhaust. Mm-hmm. First, a super chat here from CCW NYC. Soul exhaust made a 2-minute video of their full straight pipes with their mufflers for GT4. Sounded great. Did you see that?
Unless if it's new, I haven't, but I probably have seen it.
All right. And then right after that, Tava King wants to know, when are you doing the race version of the Soul exhaust on the GT4?
I have to ask John when he has one. It's on the list. It's on the docket to get sent to me. I'm going to do the resonated version of the race exhaust, and then we'll do the catless headers that they have and kind of try that crazy combination. And then I'll also be getting the valved rear section, which are coming out with as well. And so I think the setup will end up being over axle pipes with a valved rear section with a valve controller, so I can basically open the valves all the time. So that's the plan. Right now it sounds good with the factory section. It's just a little hollow sounding that I think that the new Soul rear section is gonna help. So, but I'm gonna play with them all and make videos of them all. So it's gonna be a fun little process.
All right, what speed do you use, or do you set it to when you use the 3-inch LHR 75E?
3-inch, I'm generally running at speed 4.5. Is kind of the recommended speed to run that. Sometimes I'll tend to slow the 3-inch down more than I would slow down like the big machine, more often. So somewhere between 3 and 4.5, just depending on how tight the panel is. I don't want to be flinging crap all over the place. But yeah, 4.5 is kind of the Jason Rose recommended. That's what Rupes trains on. Like an LHR 15 Mark II at speed 4.5, an LHR 75E, which is the 3-inch Rupes at speed 4.5, and then the new LHR 15 Mark III at speed 4.
All right, let's see. We got a super chat here from Rick. Apologize if I missed it, but will the FIAC Wall Air be included in the Black Friday sale?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Should be for sure. All right, let's see. Got a quick question here from Sean on Facebook that a couple people were chatting about. I seem to recall you always using about 150 milliliters of shampoo in your foam cannon with every soap you try.
Yep.
I believe many of them vary in concentration that I've seen you use over the past couple years. How come you don't take that into account? It would seem to affect not only cost per wash, but also the strength of the solution. Example, I believe GSF only calls for 20 milliliters in a foam cannon.
Yeah, well, they're on crack. There's no freaking way that's going to work. I'll play with dilutions, but I know 150 mLs is going to work. I'm pretty certain, and so that's why I've only used it three times. So that's why I chose to stick with the formula that seems to work pretty well. 150 milliliters of soap, and then roughly 600 milliliters, 700 milliliters of water. Mix it up really well, and I think that's probably the right dilution. But 20 ml is a pipe dream.
All right, Paulo on Facebook says you're doing some great work on tool organization with ToolGrid, but do you have a specific organization for your detailing equipment? Obviously, the pressure washer system is wall mounted, but what about storage of your foam cannon, various wheel brushes, wash mints, etc.? Do you just store everything on a shelf or in a cabinet?
No, all the wheel cleaning stuff stays in the wheel cleaning bucket. It probably would make sense someday to have some sort of 3D printed insert in the bucket that holds everything, or having some specific thing for that. But yeah, I just leave them in the wheel bucket there to kind of dry with a grit guard, and everything drips underneath it, and I clean out the wheel bucket after probably every other wash. The thing I do want to figure out is, and this is probably where Kaizen Foam will come in, is or some sort of foam. Whether I use a company called Shark, who makes CNC'd foam inserts, but like my Flex polisher drawer it seems like it's always flopping around, and my Rupes polisher drawer, everything's always flopping around. So I do want to figure that out as well, and maybe we can make something with ToolGrid. It's going to be a long, multi-year process for me to kind of figure all this organization stuff out, but we're going to get there a little bit at a time.
All right, Dewey. Hey there, need to get in touch with you on some ToolGrid to order. That's good. Email support at Obsessed Garage. They can help you get all that set up. Infamous Z44 says, been watching you guys forever. Finally got some entry-level things from the store. It's amazing. I should have bought everything way sooner. Thank you. That's cool.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much all the stuff has been, is whether or not it's the best in the world is debatable, but I can promise you that every single thing that I sell is legit. I try to think of I would say probably the least legit thing we have is probably the As Seen on TV hose nozzle, which actually works really well, or the Wall Air. The Wall Air has some quirks to it, and then it's you have to watch the video of me installing it, where it's just a little shocking because it doesn't have a tank, so it just runs. And so you need to know that going in, that it's not like something you're going to use to be blowing out pads and having this great user experience. It's designed to fill up your inner tubes and tires and be on the wall and have quick access for filling up bike tires and your wheels and stuff like that. And it's not because it doesn't have a tank, so it's not like your typical compressor.
Speaking of which, Epiphany Detailing has a question. Any plans to add any entry-level air compressors? I mainly am looking for tires and to blow out pads. I was hoping the Wall Air will work, but from your videos it sounds like it's not ideal.
No. Yes, at some point. I have the two ultra expensive, ultra quiet ones. I know that those aren't practical for 95% of applications. They don't have a ton of output, and they're super expensive. I mean, they're amazing. Yes, that is on the docket. I would like to have something in the $200-300 range, something like that. That was a nice machine. I thought California Air Tool was going to be that, but the quality on them is just a little janky. every one I've experienced just hasn't been a good user experience for me.
All right, Henry on Facebook wants to know, will there ever be a starter detailing kit available in the OG store?
Probably not. I mean, I think that the detailing products that I'm using are the minimum. And so we're actually going to work on, it'll be an essentials kit. So we're going to have a master collection and essentials. And the master collection will be one of everything. The essentials will be one of everything essential. And then we'll have, so underneath collections will be, what do we call it? Solutions. Underneath collections will be essential solutions. And so, for instance, car washing will be 1 mitt or pad, 1 gallon of soap. So we'll eliminate all the extra stuff. Like, this is what you need. The bucket essentials will be like 3 buckets with vinyl on it, no dollies or any of that stuff. But the key is that every essential kit can be increased by buying other kits or solutions to get to the master collection. That's the plan. We were working on that the other day of starting to lay that out.
All right, we got a listener here, viewer from Sweden. I've noticed that you always use Bead Maker on top of your protection.
Mm-hmm.
Does that mean G-Technic must have a dedicated topper for CSL or EXO? Have you tried without it? Greetings from Sweden.
Yeah, they have C2V3. I just don't like it very much. It's a lot harder to deal with. I think that Bead Maker looks really good, and that's why I like it the most. I also like how Bead Maker works on trim and stuff and glass and everything else that C2V3 doesn't do quite as well at. And so C2V3 would be like Reload, CarPro's Reload, or Geon Cure. It's that kind of topper for your coating. It's a good product, but I just like the Bead Maker better.
All right, we got a couple folks chiming in the chat about the measure of car shampoo. It also depends on the water. For instance, some of them have hard water, so they add more soap sometimes.
Yeah, that's a great point. Your water hardness. Mine isn't particularly hard. It'd be great. I'd love it if if GSF I could do half the amount. I'll try it. I've tried it many times in other soaps. I just haven't gotten to that point yet. I only had one liter bottle, and so I wanted to make sure that I wanted to use it the way I was fairly certain was going to work.
All right. Speaking of GSF, is that Matt's favorite Koch-Chemie product thus far? We know it's been good, but is there one that you found?
Yeah, that's really. I've only tried 3 of them, or 4 of them. So at this point, yeah.
All right. Mike wants to know, our Canadian friend, have you decided on final wheels for the Civic yet?
Yeah, all of them. So the 15s I'm really digging now that I have the suspension set up. So we now have I've got, so when you'll see this in the Civic video, the update, but we now have 6 sets of wheels with all the appropriate tire sizes on, and so I'm going to go and set it up and take photos of each one of them. The question is going to be, I just talked to Michael Good today from the Dent Company, who's going to really work with the metal and get the fenders rolled nice and tight. My goal would be to set up the suspension where it's aligned, and toe and camber and caster and all that stuff is set up properly. Steering wheel is nice and straight, which is not super easy to do on a Civic, because there's a lot of play in the steering rack. My goal would be to have it all set up, and then you could just swap whatever wheels you wanted without having to go have it realigned every time. And so there'll be a bit of a happy medium there. But wouldn't it be cool if you could just wake up tomorrow and say, I'm going to throw the Regamasters on there and see how it goes. So I'm in the process of coating them all. So just to recap, we have 15-inch TE37 RTs, and it's like a satin black. I can't remember what they called it. It's like a real nice, clean. I was going to say brilliant, but it's not, because it's satin black finish. No center caps on those. Those are 15x8 plus 35 offset. I have a 205/50/15 Super Meaty Bridgestone RE71R on that tire, on that set of wheels. With the painted hubs and the hub-centric rings, keep it centered on the hub, because the the hub is 56 millimeters, and I think it's 56.1 millimeters, and the center bore of the wheels is like 72 millimeters, and so you need a ring to help make up that gap to keep it so it's not flopping around when you're driving. Then I have CE28 ends in diamond black, which is like a dark gray, like a metallic type dark gray. That has center caps. Those are 16 by 7 plus 42. I have a 215 45 16 Falcon Zenith RT660 tire on that, which looks great. But the plus 42 offset makes it pretty sunk, so you need to kind of run not a lot of camber to make that look decent. But those fit great. And then the Desmond Rega Masters are in that kind of weird, I forget what the color they call, but it's like a gunmetal green type finish. Those I now have the same 215 45 16 Falcon RT660. Those now look meatier because they're 17 by 7 plus 38 offset. So again, pretty conservative offset on those in a 16 by 7. Next set would be the spoon wheels, which are 16 by 7.5, a little wider, and a plus 30 offset. So they're really aggressive. So we put 205s on those, RE71Rs, 205, 45, 16. Then I have the TE37 Sonics that are 16 by 8, which is problematic. I wish they were 16 by 7. But they're 16 by 8 plus 35, which is the right offset. But I had to put 205s on those 8s, which makes them look a little stretched. So we'll see how that looks. I tried 205 40 16, but that was a really puny sidewall. It looked terrible on a 16-inch wheel. And so now we have a 45 sidewall, but now we have some stretch to it because it's a 205. But that's the only way I could get those to fit. And I think that's it. Was that 6 of them? Oh, and then the last set, the RE30 Series 2 Volks that are plus 32 offset, 16 by 7. Those are really crappy tires on there. They look really nice. Toyo R1Rs, but they're noisy, kind of crappy tires. Those are 205 45 16. So that's a set that fits as well. So you can see a myriad of from plus 42 offset all the way up to plus 30. The smaller the offset, the more it moves it out into the wheel well. 7-inch, 7.5-inch, and 8-inch wide wheels. And then I have the one set of 15s. So pretty wide array of wheels. None of them are gosh darn gunmetal, which is what I would want. I couldn't find. I wanted an OG TE37 with center caps in a 16 by 7.5 plus 35. That'd be perfect, but that doesn't exist, so can't get it.
Russell chimed in the chat and said Almighty Gray is the color of one of your
thank you. Yeah, Almighty Gray, which is that kind of gunmetal looking green. We'll put the stickers on them and stuff. It'll look kind of cool. It'll be a bit obnoxious with the blue paint, but I think some might want to rock that occasionally. And then the winner, what they can do is they can sell them or put them on or do whatever the heck they want to do with them. But I think we've decided I'm pushing the giveaway back, so I have a little more time with the car. We're going to push it back likely to February, so March is likely when we're going to do the giveaway. I've got a big announcement possibly coming here for December, which might be really cool. Something I think people are going to like, but we're working out the details of that. So anyway, that's the story.
So does the winner of the Civic get all of those wheels and tires?
Yep. Oh, plus the stock wheels, which are, I think 195, 55, 16, which they're pristine, beautiful. Really, really clean, pristine, no clear coat peeling or anything on the stock wheels as well. So 7 sets of wheels in total.
So you're going to need a trailer for the car and one for the wheels, too.
And then the engine and all the seats and all the parts and pieces. So, yeah, we're at roughly 130,000. $130,000 is what the car. So it'll probably end up somewhere around 135 when it's all said and done, depending on how much I have to pay to have, if I have to do some paint or stuff on the hood. But yeah, it's really nice. I'll show you the spreadsheet. It doesn't make sense, but it adds up quickly. All these parts and pieces, a lot of trial and error. I mean, you figure I probably have $1,200 in just mounting and balancing expenses. Just to get the tires, to do all this flip flopping around to figure out what works. So it's been a, and I knew that this is how it would go, and the stereo I knew was inexpensive, and I knew it would turn, hack people off, and I knew that, the suspension was going to be expensive, and I knew that we'd have a bit of a process. The engine is expensive, but it's sort of it's not the world's most expensive Civic, but it's probably the world's most expensive bolt-on Civic. And the key is you'll be able to unbolt everything and bolt it back to stock if you wanted to in a relatively simple process. The only thing you'd have to buy would be likely some new kick panel covers, the little plastic covers. That's, I think, the only thing you need to put it back to stock.
All right, couple of quick GT4 questions here. One that popped up from Spencer, and this happened recently. What percent or what tint did you go with on the GT4?
I think it's 20% on all the sides, and then 70% on the windshield. Yeah, the whole windshield. It's the XPEL Ultimate, or whatever it is, Prime Plus XR
Prime
or
Plus,
something.
there you go.
Yeah, something like that.
All right, let's see. Our Nike friend out in Oregon, Jeff, says, FYI, the shoe review you promised on each video has been missing as of late.
Yeah.
What are you wearing today?
Shoe review, but I'm wearing my Nike Metcon 6 designed by me. See how it says OG on there? You like that?
Oh, nice, yeah.
OG. The other one says Spec. So it says OG, and the other one says Spec on there. These are, I chose like the, whatever, the wire knit or whatever that thing's called. And
all those colors.
yeah, you choose
options.
every color. So these are one of one. And I got a Kate Sparkle.
Yeah, you bedazzled the sole there.
A little bedazzled thing on the bottom there. Yeah, and so I kind of, funny story for you. I gotten on a little bit of a shoe craze here lately. And because I found the Metcon 6s, Metcon 6s from Nike I really like. And then I really like the Nano 9s, the Reebok Nano 9s, both CrossFit shoes. And so I was sitting there one night, and I'm like, well, I got these done, these the custom design ones, just took a little while. And then I ordered 3 sets of these, white, black, and there was one other color, but the other color was, I guess they didn't have in stock or discontinued or something. So I'd gotten 2 pair of Nikes, plus this that I'd gotten, so 3 in short order. And then I ordered, and I'd gotten a pair of basketball shoes at the same time. So Michelle saw these come. And you can see where this is going.
Yep.
And then I had a big box came. And I ordered 4 different colors of Metcon 9s, not Metcon, Nano 9s from Reebok. And so the box is sitting up on the counter, or whatever it is, at 37 inches height, and they're sitting down on the other side behind the sink eating dinner. And I opened up the box, and she says, "What did you get?" Because she just saw my Nikes, and so I opened up one pair, and I'm showing Ryan's like, "What? Why are you always getting new shoes, not me?" And Michelle's just shaking her head. And then I opened the second pair. She says, "You got 2?" And I'm like, "Didn't you?" She's like, "Didn't you just get 2 or 3?" Mm-hmm. And then I sneakily, they kind of lost interest, but there were 2 more pairs in that box. There were 4 pairs in the box. And so I snuck off into the room and opened the other 2 set up. I like to, set up the laces and get them all lined up and all that stuff.
So now you have more shoes than Michelle? Is that what we're...
Probably not. No. Maybe. Definitely more CrossFit shoes, but now I gotta purge. I gotta clean out some of the. I don't know how many pairs. I wouldn't say. I guess I do have a lot of shoes, but I probably don't have a lot compared to like if you were into shoes.
Like
I used to be really into it.
Lewis has got a lot of shoes.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. Those white ones, those look like New Balance from a distance. You may want to get rid of those.
I think they're cool.
All right, let's see. Let me get to this super chat here from my WRX channel. Matt, I may have missed it, but what are the build specs / plans / parts for the B18 that is going into the Civic?
Shoot. I forget what. I think I have it right here. Let me look and pull it up and tell you.
And people are asking if we voted yet. I'm voting this afternoon on the way home.
I voted by early absentee ballot. I always do.
There you
go.
It's Tanner. He's a Canadian. What does he care for voting? Canadians.
Oh, boy.
All right.
What was I looking for? Oh, I was looking for the Civic
build.
Yeah. I've got a Civic build spreadsheet here where John told me what he did. Okay. JDM B18C Type R engine with LSD, the JDM LSD, limited slip differential. and transmission. That was $5,100. So JDM transmission. Haas Sport billet motor mounts, high compression piston rings, new bearings, refresh the cylinder head, new OEM timing belt and water pump, new gaskets and seals, Skunk 2 tuner 2 cams, valve springs and retainers, LMA. I don't know what LMA is. What is LMA? LMA. Somebody chime in on there. Cam gears, injectors, fuel pump, assemble. Targeting between 100 and 195 wheel horsepower, 93 octane.
Lost motion assembly.
Okay, whatever that is.
Like. I don't know what that means.
Honda OEM clutch kit, new red JDM red valve cover, a clean bead blast, paint, refinish parts, Honda S300 ECU and harness. Remove the old motor, install the new motor, dyno tune. It's on $1,200. It was like, what was it, like 11,000 to change, something like that.
All right, so there you go. My WRX channel. Yoshi wants to know, super chat here, what if you had a set of custom 3-piece wheels made, or is that not your thing?
Yeah, I don't like 3-piece wheels. I never have. I like monoblock, single piece, cut out of a single hunk of aluminum. I thought about, I'm thinking about one of the other projects I'm thinking about taking on is getting a Tesla. So it's my backup so I can drive around, have it autopilot me around, at least have that as backup. Maybe that'll help cure me of my, now I'm in probably like a 7-mile radius, up from 1 mile radius. And so, I was thinking about, I'd do like some 3-piece, some crazy like 22s and make it like a pimp cruiser or something like that. So I've been thinking about doing something stupid like that, calling up, Unplugged Performance and doing carbon ceramics and all that stuff. That was Jeff from the Rag Company just calling me about probably about the status update on. We'll have the IK bottles and sprayers. I'll make a video on that here soon. The way I'm looking at Pressol and IK is that neither one of them are what I want. But I want to be a part of the development process to figure out, how do we get to the best bottle and sprayer combination setup. I don't care who wins. I'll just buy it from whoever has it, whether it's me direct from Pressol or me through the Rag Company. I don't really care. I just want it to be great. And neither one of them are quite there yet. So I'm going to have them both and have them both available. That's the best we've got, and figure out how to develop solutions like labels and stuff for them as well. So I just ordered 4 pallets of the IK stuff, so we'll see, when those will be available.
And just to clarify, because someone mentioned in a comment or a chat, the foam sprayer, the IK foamer, is what you tossed in the woods at your house, right?
Yeah. These are actual hand sprayers, not pump sprayers.
Gotcha. There you go. We'll address this one real quick because we talked about it last week. But CJ's asking, what's the website for mountain bike that we gave out last week?
Worldwide Cyclery.
Worldwide Cyclery, CJ. There you go.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Afternoon, Chris and Matt. I'm keen to get your take on what CSL and EXO respectively bring to the table. Is one for durability and the other slickness or water performance? Thanks.
Yeah. So the EXO is the top layer, like the sacrificial layer, if you will. I think it looks better. Well, there's the main reason why I like the EXO on top. It makes it look a little more wax-like. CSL by itself is a little slicker. The EXO makes it a little bit tackier, but still super slick compared to other coatings. But the EXO is supposed to help with water spot ability. It makes it more hydrophobic, but does make it bead more. CSL by itself is a little more hydrophilic. It tends to sheet water a little better. I just like the combination, but you don't need to do the combo. You could live with CSL. You're probably buying 6 months of time by adding the EXO, I would guess. All
right. Jeff wants to know what Michelle's shoe size is. He can right the wrong of her having less CrossFit shoes.
She is a 10.
There you go. She's 10 or a male size 14. Either way, that works.
No. Opposite way. Oh. I was like, yeah, Chris doesn't work out. He doesn't need shoes. He's on the sedentary plan. Yes. Eat less and not do any kind of physical activity.
I'm wearing some nice Asics right now.
What do you
I forget what they are, but they're comfy.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. How's the GT4 exhaust progressing? Which one do you have on there now? The over-axle?
Just the over-axle pipes, yeah. Yeah,
Gotcha.
so I don't whatever comes next we'll work on. But valves disconnected. That's the thing with the GT4 is that the valve transition is so long because of the longer gearing, so you're always out of in valves closed mode from like 95% of the time. So yank those suckers off, and it's funny, Porsche guys get so scared of pulling off the valve. It's just a vacuum actuated valve. It's not like some sophisticated system. Just pull it off. I don't even plug it. I just jam it up under there somewhere. I don't even zip tie it. There's nothing that really can happen to it. So worst case scenario, if there's some dirt or something, I'll just pull the whole tube off and put a new tube on. It's not really that big of a deal. So you just make sure they're open. So so make sure they're open when you turn the car off, and then yank them off, and they'll just stay open all the time. It's great. On the GT3, it drones like crazy when you do that. It's kind of boomy and obnoxious, but on the GT4, not so much. Great.
Quick question here from Mike. I think you're like, what's the OG spec iPhone case? What are you using?
I just used which mine's jacked up. I'm waiting on. I ordered a new one, and then I ordered the wrong size, and I just haven't redone it. But this is just the Apple. I only like Apple cases, either Apple case or no case. I don't like this aftermarket crap. It never works out right. So I like the Apple rubber or leather case.
Ooh, low blow here from Jeff in the chat. He says they don't make beige Camry shoes. That's it. Sticking with ASICs forever now, Jeff. How would you clean light dust or dirt or sand off a car? This is from Mike. He lives in Phoenix. Say I washed it Sunday, windy Monday, Tuesday. How would you clean that up to take the car out on Wednesday? Which products?
You got sand. I wouldn't mess with that, man. I'd have wash it again. That's where I think you make the big mistake when you start rubbing on the car too much and you have it. I wish that my car was always clean, and I'd always want to be wiping it down after every time I drove it. But the problem with doing that, especially in a sandy environment, is then you're dragging sand across the surface. Even ONR would theoretically encapsulate the sand, but and that's what you could do. If you were going to do it, I would do a rinseless wash, meaning you have a bucket of water and you have like half a dozen towels or something. You just kind of wipe it down and then wipe the rest. So be flipping your towel off, and don't dunk the towel back in the bucket, and do it that way.
All right, let's see. John wants to know, is the mystery celebrity garage that you mentioned several months ago still happening, or did it get pushed?
Oh, yeah. I guess not. I forgot all about that. I need to ask Sonic about that. Shoot. I mean, I don't think this would be a huge project, so it's a long time away, but I'll have to ask him about that, see where we're at.
All right, let's see. Is the GT4 good enough daily with PDK? It'll be the only car I own, but don't have wife and kids to drive around or many groceries to pick up. Coming from an M4, what should I expect?
Yeah, I mean, I think you could. I know I could have swung it at that age with no prior issues, no commitments. That sometimes you have to go to Home Depot and rent their little truck for $19 to haul something if you needed to. Yeah, I mean, I had an S2000 my whole younger days, and I didn't have any issues with trying to get stuff and people places. Also means you never have to be like the designated driver or anything like that, because no one can fit in your car. Yeah, I think it'd be great, PDK or manual. I don't think it matters.
All right, let's see. Jonathan wants to know, if you had to get an SUV, what would you consider?
Range Rover Sport, X5, Q7. I would consider a Land Cruiser, whatever, LX 470 or whatever they call it, and then the Cayenne.
All right. Joey wants to know, is Matt still a part of that Corvette group?
No, I am not. I had to get out of all the Facebook Corvette groups. I just can't handle the stupidity. They're just so, oh my gosh, it's such 95% of them in those groups. They're just so naive and so. It just so reminds me of Hazleton, Pennsylvania. It reminds me of just a simpler time, a simpler group of people that have severe anger for everything except for Corvettes.
And Olive Garden.
All freaking Olive. No, those are the Porsche people that love the Olive Garden.
Sorry.
I've told that story many times. Many of you new people probably never heard the story. So I get my first Porsche. It's 2014. I get my Carrera S. I'm so excited. I'm like, man, and I was a financial advisor. So I'm like, I'm going to get all these clients that are, Porsche people. The way I'm going to do it, I'm going to get really involved in the Porsche Club of America. And so I go to my first meeting. And we go to the dealership for like 10 seconds. Everybody rushes inside of the dealership. And then they have their meeting minutes of all the secretary talks about the budget and it's a bunch of bull crap that no one frickin' cares about. They have it's like a Teamsters meeting or something like that. And then the meeting's adjourned and all right, we're going to the Olive Garden. I'm like, freaking Olive Garden. And I go out in the parking lot and there's 6 944s, like hunks of crap, like 2 of them are like spray painted. There's like a bunch of base 993 and 996 Carreras, like base, and like 6 Boxsters, like 2000s Boxsters. And here I am with the nicest car. And I thought I was going to hang out with all these rich dudes who are going to teach me all about life and the trials and tribulations of success. And we go to the freaking Olive Garden. No one hangs out and talks to the car. You just park wherever you can park. And we go in, and then all these old dudes are giving me the stink eye, like, where are you gonna sit? And so it was real cliquey, and that was my experience. And I went like 2 or 3 more times, thinking, well, maybe that was just the one time. So they race to Olive Garden, and then all these dudes are negotiating over who's gonna get free. Some dudes are eating like free breadsticks only or whatever. And here I am, freaking, it's so frustrated. Going to the freaking Olive Garden. No one's hanging out, talking about their cars. I don't want to sit down and have dinner with a bunch of dudes. I want to have dinner with my family or my friends. I don't want to have dinner with a bunch of randos. I want to hang out and talk about cars. Not to sit down at the freaking stink Olive Garden and eat some nasty, endless soup. It's terrible. So that was my experience with the Porsche Club of, and then I went to another group up here in Ocala. It's the same freaking thing. Bunch of old dudes with a bunch of crappy old Porsches, who probably should be driving Honda Civics, and yeah, that was my freaking experience. Never going back. Dead to me. Don't even pay the dues anymore. Screw it.
All right, Real MDG has a question here. Hey, big Honda bro. Any tips on applying a ceramic coating without a garage? I live in a windy city, and by the time I've used a racer and put the coating on the suede, dust already settles on the panel.
Yeah, make some friends. Go find yourself some sort of carport or somebody else's garage or something like that. Yeah, I mean, if it's that drastic, then you're going to want to find somewhere to put it on. Maybe go to a quarter car wash at 1 a.m., and put it on there or something, somewhere you have some covering.
All right, our buddy Shane from Kentucky says, good Lord, do I wish I could send Olive Garden gift cards through Super Chat. Olive Garden is the real OG. Funny.
Yeah, what? Right across the street is a Ruth's Chris. I was so excited. I'm like, man, I'm gonna be hurting to go to Ruth's Chris and because I bought that Porsche and I wasn't Porsche ready yet, but I'm like, man, this is gonna be great. I'm gonna learn all this life lessons from all these dudes, and a bunch of freaking weirdos wanting to hang out and break breadsticks. Not even bread. Let's go break some breadsticks over the current minute meetings about what's our next 2-day rally going to be? Who wants to frickin' do a 2-day rally eating from Olive Garden to Olive Garden? I'm like, this is the worst thing I've ever heard in my life.
All right, let's see. We had, who was that in the chat? That was Kyle York in the chat. Have Matt check out some cool hex lights I stumbled across from Restoration Hardware.
Ooh.
So there you go. He knows you're a fan of Restoration Hardware.
I'll talk to Michelle. See if we can get some OG hexes. We need to get him to turn it, though. See how it's on the side? Yeah, we need the peak at the top there. That's pretty cool.
That is pretty cool. Thank you, Kyle. All right, just what we needed. More ideas for him here. Shane nailed it, the GOG. Ruth's Chris isn't all that. Their chicken is fire, though. That's funny.
I like Ruth's Chris. I like it.
All right, let's see. I do too. Jonathan wants to know, here's a business-related question. Matt, when it comes to interviewing applicants for your business, what are some of the indicators you're looking... what are some of the indicators you're trying to look out for to know you have a quality candidate?
I'm looking for like cues. I don't think there's really any question you can ask specifically, but I'm looking for certain things that like I'm listening, and usually I'll kind of tell the story, and then I'll ask them to respond to things, and I'm listening for cues. For example, I had one guy who, we had a job. It was an entry-level job, and so he kind of wanted to be a part of it, but he was making demands about, not demands, but like basically saying, like, if I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna need some guarantees that like I'm gonna have an ascent here, and that to me is just not gonna work. Right. Whereas, like I use the example of Tommy all the time. Tommy was like, I was talking about saying something about, and I'm sort of telling him like, this is an entry level job. This is just what I have right now. And I know that I'm interviewing overqualified people for this, but I think that opportunities are going to open up inside of this as we build this startup. But like I'm, the time's picking up the little paper towel crumblies on the, I'm going to figure out who does that. But,
right.
But the little paper towel, I'm cleaning up the bathroom floor, wiping it down. I'm reorganizing the shelves. I'm building shelves. And Tommy said, well, why would you do that? Have me do that. So looking for like cues. Like I didn't ask him specifically that, but cues were that, the previous guy was like, look, you better be giving me some guarantees. And versus I'll do whatever it takes, and I know you'll take care of me kind of thing. And so I'm looking mainly for what is their expectation, what is their drive, and you're not always right, and sometimes it's not the perfect fit, and so that's generally what I'm looking for, and when I'm talking to somebody. I'm having to sort of let go of, like in the warehouse and packaging and shipping, we're going to have to hire some hourly type people that, more fit personality wise than they're like want to be, the next Obsessed Garage, a CTO or whatever. So I'm kind of, having Chris and my dad and having having them do the, choose the people they would want to work with, and rather than me, micromanaging it.
All right, we got a question here on Instagram from Reasonable Paul. This week he posted a video and pictures of the OG Spec funnel. It seems there's a lot of internet hate in regards to the product and its price. I have two questions. One, were you able to sleep at night after reading the comments? And two, what are your go-to ways of coping with internet hate?
Well, irrationality and stupid comments, I think it's kind of fun to, like, unless I'm talking very specifically about a product, a lot of times I don't know what to talk about. And a lot of things that are fun to talk about to me that come top of mind is to interact with stupid people, or people that are, maybe they're not even stupid, that are just angry with whatever. Or a lot of times, my wager is the vast majority of comments like that are just flippant. They're just top of mind. They're just, they're not well thought out. But comments on something like that where I'm super comfortable, I'm like, they don't bother me at all. I'm like, this either exists or it doesn't. And so my comment to Rusty, who's making the thing, he's like, well, look, man, unless we make like 10,000 of these things, it's going to be, and even then it's still going to be rather pricey. If we want this to exist, he needs to make some money and I need to make some money. And so then I say, we could do this on like zero margin and it still be expensive, or we can do it with margin and have it be a little bit more expensive and have it exist. So it's one of those things where, or we could hold out and get patents and buy molds and try to do it out of plastic or something else and read it and spend $2 million and get it all set up and then have it maybe sell or maybe not. I would choose the path of let's make it in small batches, whatever it costs. That's just what we're going to sell it for. In order for me to make 35% and him to make 35% margin to make it worth our time, even then it's hardly worth the time. So figure on $100 funnel, I'm making, what are we making, $40 or something like that, $30, $35. So that $35 on how many funnels we have, 100 of them, that's $3,500. And so now if I sold 35,000 of them and you made $35 on each, that'd be awesome, and maybe we will someday. But right now, those of us who work our faces off and have $105 doesn't mean, even though you work, it's funny, the harder you work or the more you're, generally the more time you have put in order to be able to be compensated well to where $105 doesn't really matter that much to you. It's not that it doesn't matter. It's the product, the value of the product or what it doesn't mean as much to you as the $105 or means more to you than the $105 would. And so I go into it extremely confident. Where I get frustrated is like, how are you that stupid where you don't know what I'm doing here? I think like people that are simple are like, well, I know that Matt's buying this for like 18 cents and he's selling for 105. No, no. Then I would sell it for like $20 and sell 10,000 of them. Instead, we're only going to sell a few of them. And how many have we sold? 50 or 40?
Yeah, I think, what is that? What did we get, 80 on the first batch, I think?
Oh, still 30.
Yeah, 30-ish.
Yeah, it's still 30 of them. And, yeah, Paul, it doesn't really bother me all that much. Some of the things that bother me are when people just, I just have this strong sense to be right, and when they're wrong, I just have this overwhelming desire to set them straight. And you just can't do that. It's like trying to change someone's political opinion, unless they're open, unless they're open and you're like extremely eloquent or extremely well versed. The chance of you changing someone's mind, who is especially someone who is simple-minded, is virtually nil. So, same thing on this. I've gotten more and more mature on this as time has gone on, and people are always the one thing that bothers me now is when people tell me don't acknowledge the comments. Well, I acknowledge the positive comments and the negative comments, and that's just part of the interaction. So that one bothers me. Don't worry about it. You're turning me off by talking about it. Well, what else am I going to talk about? I just talked about the wheels for 15 straight minutes. I ran out of stuff. So now I'm going to yell at goofballs a little bit. But, maybe some point I'll be so zen that it won't even matter anymore. But it's part of the game. Part of the deal, and I have ebbs and flows of being really positive about it and times of being extremely negative about it. And there are things that are really commonly ignorant. Some of the comments that think they're going to get me, like, you have like no subscribers and you have very little views. So or they compare me to some of the whole Goon Squad comparison thing got me all fired up. It's nothing to do with Goon Squad, but the whole comparison of why do you need all these tools when you can make these beautiful perfect cars with no tools. I said, well, first of all, you can't make a beautiful perfect car out of a janked up car anyway, at least not unless you're spending 5 times more than the car cost originally. Second of all, stop comparing me to other people because it just doesn't make any sense. And those that are, so comments like that, I look at, I just laugh. Like, you're 17,000 views. That's nothing. You're an idiot. How are you? You shouldn't be spending so much money. I'm like, dude, if you had any idea, like, what I'm up to here, you just have they can't put the puzzle together. That's why they're making $8 an hour at Golden Corral, and then yelling at me about not having a lot of views. So those don't really get me. It's the ones that where they think they're right. I don't speak unless I'm right.
All right, we have a question here from Matt Saxon in the chat. When do you expect to have a new overhead lighting package for home garage? Assuming the Cree fixture is as expensive as you thought, would you just defer back to the current one available?
Yeah, I don't know. The thing that's so appealing about using a high bay light like what we have is that it's so inexpensive and puts out such a significant magnitude of light and reasonably accurate light. The thing that would intrigue me about doing something like Cree would be the accuracy of it and the control of it and the ability to choose output. And I really have to start doing what I would like to get to the point to where we're performing lighting calcs, but we're performing lighting calcs based and then utilizing that to form our own opinions, or not opinions, but our own experience, form our own data set on how much light you should need. Because if you use traditional light engineering or light calcs, it's not enough light, I don't think. So you do a light calculation, and then in your house, sure. But in a garage, I think you want the ability to flamethrow and hit every square inch of it if you can. And so the thing that intrigues me so much about Cree would be, one, the quality of the LEDs, the control, and then the ability to choose different lumen output of the same fixture. And then, of course, in a perfect world, to have color shifting, to have color temperature shifting. And so the only way to do that, I'm going to have to just start to get into it. The problem with most lighting is it's really jank Chinese garbage, the vast majority of these lighting companies. And every single person I've talked to that claims to be an expert doesn't know jack. The only guy that I've really ever talked to that's like a real expert is one of my GT car buddies, AC. But he has this multinational corporation. He doesn't have time to jerk around with garage lighting. He's lighting stadiums and skyscrapers and stuff like that. So, and for him to specialize in garage lighting is a waste of time. So, I'm trying to at some point. This is what makes me wake up in the middle of the night, is that I feel like there's all of this opportunity and all these things that I could be chasing. Like the other day, I was thinking about, man, there's nobody online that does anything with boats, like boat detailing and stuff. There's no real solid stuff that I could tackle and teach people how to really chase that and bring in experts to talk about gel coat, and the same thing with RVs and things like that. But there's so many different things that I would like to do, and I will do. It's just in due time. So right now, and I've said this since the beginning, I don't think that the lights we have are the end-all be-all, but they are good, and they will solve the problem. And if you're building a garage, I think it's the best thing we've got, unless you're willing to be the guinea pig and you're going to spend $80,000, because that's what I think it's going to cost. You're going to spend $75,000 on a gamble, and you may not even like it.
All right, Mike wants to know, what's the application you use, and/or Kyle, to help design and plan our garages? Is that from Sonic or Sabre, or one that you found on your own?
Yeah, we've just been using Home Designer, which is it's just a real simple, kind of like Google SketchUp. I just found it to be a lot easier to learn. So the intent would be we'll probably start using Revit in the future. And then do some like SolidWorks designing, and eventually have a VR rig, and then start doing like 3D cutaway layouts that some of the real estate firms are using and stuff like that. But again, in due time. But right now we're using Home Designer and try to make it look like what what the products that we're doing.
This might be a bad question. No. Is the new design, or is the design of the new BMW M3 growing on you?
No, definitely not. Yeah, the M4 looks freaking terrible. The M3 is not as bad, but yeah, I'm out. Good luck, BMW. See you later.
And this has come up before, but we'll address it and see if it's changed here. Any interest in replacing the Raptor with a Ram, TRX, or Hummer EV?
No. Mm-mm.
Raptor's going to be around for a little while, I think.
Yeah, I think so too. I was supposed to change the oil, and then time got away from me today. So,
You supposed to change it today?
well, I was supposed to change it 4 months ago, but according to the light. But I keep telling Michelle, I said, yeah, the light's on, but remember, I'm doing, a Mobil 1 full synthetic, so 7,000 miles, 8,000 miles is not, unrealistic. Even 10,000 mile changes. It's having me change it at like 4,000, 3,500.
All right, let's see. I think that's all we got for today. Have you
Cool.
packed yet for your trip?
Yep, that's what I was doing this morning. Packed up. I'm gonna go pack up the Civic trunk so that it can leave, late next week, likely when I'm not here. Hopefully we'll be back. I mean, maybe we'll be done Thursday. I can fly back Friday or something like that. So I didn't even book my return flight. So I'm hoping I booked the Airbnb until all the way till Sunday, and booked the rental car till Saturday for the guys that are driving up. And yes, I'm a snob. I'm flying up while they drive up. But I've earned that in this life. I'm not not driving freaking 12 hours. They seem to like that road trip stuff, so hey, more power to them. Helps us bring all the camera gear.
So Mike is coming in from California, right?
Yep. So I'm all packed up. I had to get my headphones, pack up the Civic, get ready to go, and I'm gonna relax. Again, like I said, I was planning on this week. I was gonna just hammer it and just kill it and do all these videos. And I came in on Monday. This is a big change for me. I'm like, I don't want to do that. We'll still make some videos and create some stuff, and people will be okay with that. I just, because then I would have left all stressed out. I was thinking I'll get all stressed out and do all this stuff, and then I'll be ready to go. Well, no, then I won't be ready to go. So I'll be fresh and ready to do the garage, and we're gonna shoot all kinds of cool videos and stuff like that. It's gonna be awesome.
All right, one last comment here, a positive one from Omni Garage. Thanks for stepping up the content again on Inside the Hex. Matt, really enjoy the vlog-style update videos.
Cool. Thanks.
So there you go. There's another one coming soon that he's filming today. So
Yep. Yeah, I'll have Mike edit that tomorrow and put it up. So not a lot going on today, but they started the process of the spray foam in the house and stuff like that. So anyway, that's the story.
All right. Well, we may or may not see you next week, but I think Matt's going to do a live stream.
Yeah,
from
we'll
up
probably
there in
do
Virginia.
one from up there, probably mid-project. I think it would be kind of cool. Answer some questions about where we're at and what we've encountered. Be kind of fun.
All right. Thank you all for the questions and for tuning in.
See ya later. All right, let's just finish up the